I read a great quote recently. It was Madonna, and she said, most people don't get what they want because they don't ask for it. And that really stayed with me and been in my mind a lot. I find that, yeah, a really good quote. Most of us aren't good at asking, or the other extreme, ask for ridiculous things, expect somebody world famous to suddenly work alongside you, and go join when they're worth a fortune. I find people either totally unrealistic or they don't ask. I do find men better at asking than women. It's true. I find with my male clients, they're more liable to keep phoning me till they get me, or that they will ask. If they want something from me, they will ask more than what a female would. It's quite a surprise when the females ask a lot. You almost feel like they're being demanding, but they're only doing what men do. I think it's about being very, very polite, not pestering someone, but asking. I tell you, somebody close to me wanted a job and they sent in their CV and they didn't hear anything for weeks. So they phoned up and they said, has the boss looked at my CV? And they said, not yet, he's really busy. So he phoned the next day. She went, spoke to you yesterday. He said, I'm going to phone every day until he's looked at my CV. I don't want to be a nuisance. If you tell me you see my CV and he's not interested, then fine. But I want to phone every day until I know he's seen my CV. After several weeks, the one went into the boss and said, will you look at this fellow's CV? Because he's driving me mad. He's very polite, doesn't take up a lot of time, but he does phone every day. And the boss picked it up, didn't even look at the CV and went, he's that keen, get him in for an interview. Guy got the job like that. Didn't actually have any experience in that field, uh, but knew he would get it. They knew he would get it, and he did really, really well. So it's asking in the right way. Another friend of mine, he wrote a movie. He wrote a movie, and he had this big star in mind. And he was in a restaurant in LA, and the big star was across the restaurant. It's totally true. And he had the script on him. And he walked over and he said, I'm sorry to disturb you. We did meet when I was 15. You came to a place where I was for naughty kids. I'd been in trouble. You came and gave us very inspirational talk. I was the one that opened the door. He said, yeah, I remember you. So I wrote this script for you. I'm not going to take any more of your time, but please, you might throw it in the bin on the way out. But I wrote that for you. He ended up making the movie with that big star. That's absolutely true. So sometimes it's doing it in a very polite way, not a pestering way, in a realistic way. I mean, I had a guy really trying to befriend me, but to get to somebody very well known. And one day went, oh, I want him to write a book with me. And I just sort of said, well, look, the guy's already sold millions of books. He's number one in his field. He's got all the material. Why would he write a book? You've got anything to bring to the table. I mean, just I find sometimes people are ridiculous. They just think they're going to suddenly have the biggest names, invite them on stage and work beside them when they've not got a track record. They've not worked hard. But I think being realistic, but overly polite, I think good manners go a long way. But sometimes we've got to ask and get sent off, and they tell you, clear off, go away. You're being a nuisance. Okay. But being brave like Madonna, you can see she's ballsy. I think we've got to learn to ask a bit more, haven't we? I'd love to hear your stories about asking. So if you've asked for something and got it or not got it, I'd love to hear your stories of when you've been brave and when it's happened, maybe when it's not happened. I'd love to post your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear them.